wowed millions of guests across our cinemas in Europe and the US this past weekend, and a film that is made for the big screen, such as the one behind me. And at Odeon, we are all about the big screen and delivering a fantastic big screen experience, and nowhere more so than in the Odeon Lux Holloway that you're sitting in this evening. A cinema that we spent a lot of time and care refurbishing and reopened 2 years ago, and it's truly stunning, as I hope you agree with me this evening. This is one of our Lux and growing Lux portfolio cinemas across Europe. We have 50 Luxes with the terrific recliner seats you're sitting in this evening across our estate. The majority of those are in the UK, 28 in the UK at last count, and one more to come in Wales before we close out the year. This has been a big part of our story and our growth since we joined with AMC back in 2016 to make us very proudly not just the biggest cinema group in Europe, but together with AMC, the biggest in the world, as you know. And it's been quite a journey since then. And for that, I'm going to pass you over to the reason that we're here this evening, Mr. Aron, the Chief Executive of AMC.
Hey!
Thank you, Mark. Thank you to all of you who came to see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever tonight here at the Odeon Lux Holloway. It's a real honor for me to be introduced by Mark because he's such a great executive. We bought Odeon Cinemas Group back in 2016, and we had to figure out how to run it. And I thought at the time, having done a lot of business internationally, that trying to run theaters in Europe from Kansas City, Missouri, the States was like nuts. And that theaters in the UK should be run in the UK. And that theaters in Europe should be run in Europe by Europeans. And the only miscalculation I made was Mark runs them all, and apparently you're no longer a European, right? And Brexit, you're like, bye-bye. But anyway, and Mark does a fabulous job for our company. We made a little bargain back in 2016. I told him if he ran Odeon really well, I'd like make sure that our people in Kansas City stayed out of his hair, and he could actually like run the place because he's close to it and he knows what's going on. And you've done a fabulous job, and you know how much I respect you. But speaking of people that I respect, let's talk about you for a minute. There are maybe 2 or 3 or 4 people in this auditorium tonight who just came to see Black Panther. And they don't understand why we turned off the projector, and who's that guy with the microphone, and why is he droning on and on because I want to watch the movie. But except for that, the rest of you, I'm just guessing that either you follow me on Twitter or you are or have been AMC shareholders. And I'm guessing that most of the people in this auditorium tonight are apes.
Damn right!
Let's go.
Well, I said that I want to talk about people that I respect. And boy, do I respect our shareholders. Boy, do I respect the apes. Because let me tell you what you all did when you adopted AMC as a mission and cause sometime between January 2021 and now. You saved cinemas. That's what you did. You saved theaters. You saved movies. This global pandemic that we've all been fighting, in which millions of people have died and hundreds of millions of people have gotten sick, it crippled the movie business. I remember when Mark called me and told me that the City Fathers in Milan, it's February 23rd, 2021, by the way, the City Fathers in Milan had ordered Mark to close 6 theaters in Milan. And I thought, well, that's not good, but it's only 6 theaters in Milan. We have 1,000 theaters in 15 countries. 3 weeks later, all 1,000 theaters were shut. 3 weeks, from 6 theaters in Milan to the entire company's closed. And the entire industry was closed. And all of a sudden, big companies aren't designed to be closed. All of a sudden, we were burning through cash. And we made it our life's mission, as the management of AMC and Odeon, that we weren't going to let our company die. AMC was founded in 1920 with one movie theater in Kansas City, Missouri. And 102 years later, we have 1,000 theaters, largest movie theater chain in the world. We weren't going to let that proud company with a 100-year history, we weren't going to let it go. And how many of you in the room are Brits, as opposed to
Yes,
like most, right? So it wasn't just AMC that had a legacy and a history. Odeon has a legacy and a history. The Odeon Leicester Square, which is only like the most important movie theater in all of Europe, I think we've had something like 800 movie premieres have been held at the Odeon Leicester Square. But Odeon was founded by a great showman named Oscar Deutsch. And so many of you know that the name Odeon, this is really how he named it, but quickly Odeon got known as Oscar Deutsch Entertains Our Nation. Well, that theater, the Odeon Leicester Square, was built in 1937. It also has been around for close to a century. And in the good old days pre-pandemic, AMC and Odeon were selling 350 million tickets a year. 350 million times. People went out of their homes, they went to a cinema, they were entertained, they were amused, they got to laugh, they got to cry, they got to escape from their normal life. And it's so important. We humans, we need to be able to relax. We need to be able to de-stress. With all the tough news that we have to listen to all day long about what's going on in the world, we just can't stay nervous and anxious forever. We gotta be able to calm down. And that's what a movie theater lets you do. It lets you escape all the troubles in your life, and for 2 or 3 hours, you see unbelievably good entertainment. Not always. We have a few movies that are but tonight, you're going to get one of the good ones. Woo! And the reason I know it's one of the good ones is between Thursday and Sunday, more than 4.9 million people came either to an AMC or Odeon theater to watch Black Panther. Wakanda Forever. 5 million people! 4 days! The big screen is back. And we've got a lot of good movies coming really soon. You saw the trailer for Avatar 2, Avatar the Way of Water. It's coming mid-December.
Oh, yeah.
The original Avatar, 15 years ago, was the most watched movie in the history of cinema up until that point. And it took them 15 years to make, I think it's only 13, but almost 15 years to make the next Avatar. And I've seen footage of that movie. It is spectacular. It's going to blow people away. And there are so many good movies coming in 23 and in 2024. I'm very confident that the future of our company, the future of cinemas, is bright and strong. And what's so interesting is, to the extent that the future for AMC is bright and strong, what a marked contrast it is to the rest of our industry. So we're the largest movie theater chain in Europe. Cineworld is the second largest movie theater chain in Europe. 2 months ago, they went into bankruptcy court because they were running out of cash. They were down to a couple of weeks worth of cash. They were done. View, the third largest cinema chain in Europe. They didn't go into bankruptcy court, but they had to reorganize. Basically, all their shareholders were wiped out, and the debt took over the company in sort of a peaceful administration. But both of those companies failed. And in the United States, there's so many smaller chains that are failing. And the reason why they failed, they weren't failing before the pandemic, but the pandemic kind of crushed revenues. But those companies failed because there's one big difference
Apes.
between AMC Odeon and those companies. We have the apes, and they don't.
Damn right we do.
Thank you for that. So our company in 2021, we raised $2.2 billion US. That's a lot of money. That's like 1.8 billion pounds. We raised that, and we raised it from you. You trusted us with that cash, and we still have a ton of it left. We finished the third quarter, the September 30 quarter, with $900 million in the bank.
We know Gasparino's still crying.
Cinema was running out of money. We still had close to $1 billion. And you've seen me on Twitter say that's a war chest. That's going to let our company continue to grow and thrive. And you gave us that money. If you hadn't, we might have been toast like these other companies. But you trusted us, you invested in us, and you gave us a future. So for the last year, I've been going around the United States at theaters like this, groups like this, screenings like this. I've done it 10 times already. I'm going to do 3 more in the US before Christmas. But even though I've done 10 of these in the US and 3 more coming, our international shoulders are so important. I was not happy that I was only talking to a US audience and wasn't here in the UK and Europe. So I came over tonight to be here. I came over last night, landed this morning, a little tired. I didn't sleep enough on that plane. It's not that it's a long flight. The problem is it's too short of a flight. You only sleep for 3 or 4 hours. You need a longer flight so you really sleep. Anyway.
Come back again.
I came here because I want to say thank you to you. And we also have a big batch of shareholders in Germany. So on another trip, I think Mark and I will go over to Berlin and do this for our German shareholders too. But you all are very proud of yourselves because you saved AMC, and because you saved AMC together, we saved moviegoing. And I want you to look ahead. We're not quite out of the woods yet. We still have a way to go before moviegoing is the same level of frequency as it was pre-pandemic. But we're getting there. It'll happen in 23 or 2024, possibly 2025 if it's slow. But we have the resources to outlast it. And there's going to be a time when COVID's just an ancient memory, and life really is going to be fully normal again. And people will do then what they did before the pandemic. 350 million times a year, they're going to come to an AMC or an Odeon theater. And for years and years, for decades and decades, movie-going in theaters is going to be just as successful as it was in the last 100 years. And there's only one reason for all that. It's all you. So thank you very much. And let me tell you what our program is going to be tonight. We're about to see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. After the movie is over, at the bottom of the steps, there's like a living room down there. I was taking pictures with some of you before before we had to come upstairs to watch the movie. But we're gonna go back down to that same room, just at the bottom of these steps.
Party.
And I'm gonna shake every hand and take every picture and autograph anything you want me to autograph.
Steady.
There was some guy who showed up in the States and he handed me a banana and a black Sharpie. He said, would you autograph my banana? And I said, but what about when your banana turns black? And like you want, just sign my banana. Okay. So anyway.
I got Gasparino's
It'll give me
whiny
a chance
bag.
to talk to each of you a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to that. Because I just didn't fly across the Atlantic Ocean just to make some speech in a room where we can't have one-on-one contact. So I'm looking forward to seeing you after the movie. But for the next 2.5 hours, I hope that you enjoy as much as the 4.9 million other people did between Thursday and Sunday. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Let's cue the movie, and I'll see you downstairs afterwards.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Silverback got smoking.
Oh yeah! Woo! We love you!